Welcome to the Bearing It All podcast, where we dive deep into the backstories of celebrities, CEOs, and multi-million and billion-dollar entrepreneurs. There are no rules as we aspire to inspire by sharing real experiences, triumphant comebacks, and what the road to success really looks like. It's all about the grit behind the glamour. Hi, and welcome to the Bearing It All podcast, where we talk about the grit behind the glamour. And I just want to start this first episode, this relaunch, this new season with why I put together a podcast. And for me personally, when I was first getting out of college and really was just with raw ambition, I didn't have much of a roadmap. I knew where I wanted to go, but I didn't really know how to get there. And my thought was just follow the people that have done what you want to do, the people that have been to where you want to go, and find out what they do and what they did to get there. And that was pretty much all I had in my rucksack to head out into the world, $30,000 in debt, with gross ambition and an extraordinary desire to live my best life, to get myself out of debt, to ultimately make great personal wealth, to live a great life and a great lifestyle. I just had one idea: find people that have what you want, are doing what you want to do, and are living their best life, and find out what they did to get there. And that's what was kind of my path, is finding really great people. And I've been so fortunate. That has been really one of my tricks of my trade, of how I was able to build my own personal wealth, and how I continue to seek opportunities for personal growth and development. So the impetus for this podcast was to share stories of entrepreneurs, influencers, CEOs, celebrities. How did they get from where they were to where they are? What was their journey like? What did they have to overcome? Why did they choose that path? What were the obstacles? And what was the best piece of advice? Who were their mentors? Why and what landed for them? What are the lessons? So that we can forge our own path using tools and experiences that other people have figured out for us. It's kind of like, how do I move to the front of the line? How do I get from New Jersey to California on this road trip without taking so many detours and having so many bumps along the way? It's using and leveraging other people's experiences so we don't make the same mistakes. Personally, I find people fascinating. Not everybody is born on third base. Most people start from the dugout, and they've had to find their way and navigate their own way through their own experiences. Anyway, I find people fascinating, and I love the glamour and the glitz and all the bells and whistles and accoutrements of the good life. I really, really do. But I know what's important is learning the why and the how behind how you can live your best life. So that's what Bearing It All is about. I have some unbelievable guests lined up, and I'm going to share their journey with my audience. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's nothing better for me is just having conversations with interesting people who inspire me so I can take these stories and inspire everyone else. And I'm really looking forward to it. I did take a pause. So our season 1 was over a year ago, but our second season starts now, and it's going to be better than ever before. This time off has given me an opportunity to collaborate and network with a whole new group of people that are equally as amazing as the first season of people that I got to interview. So join along for the ride. If you have any questions, anything you want me to ask, future celebrities, future entrepreneurs, CEOs, please DM me. I want to have this to be the most amazing platform for getting the backstories of your favorite celebrities, entrepreneurs, CEOs, influencers. I want to bring the best of the best to you, and also for myself. Like I said, get curious, get curious. And that's what this is all about, allowing me the opportunity to share my curiosity about people and how they've achieved great success with a larger audience. So let me give you a little backstory to myself and tell you what brought me here. I'm one of two sets of twins. There is another one of me out there, but don't worry, he's a he. I have a twin brother, Ben, 4 minutes younger than me. It's a big deal in twin world. And I have younger twin brothers, Michael and Steven. And you're probably like, wow, that's pretty crazy. Well, twins run in our family. My mother's a triplet. So, hence it's supposed to skip a generation, but didn't ours. Well, twins run in our family. So does a condition known as Fragile X. And my brother, Steven, and the younger set inherited that. And it's a neurological, it's a inherited neurological for a disability. It's a lot like Down syndrome. And he, is the happiest go lucky person you can ever meet, but he'll really never be able to take care of himself. And in middle school, when I was in eighth grade, seventh to eighth grade, the wheels kind of started to fall off. And my parents had to kind of move all across the country and live with relatives because we lost our house and we lost our cars and we lost all our money. And in one form or another, the four of us, the four kids, had to be separated because there was just too many of us. But in whatever form or fashion, we were separated across the United States. So either live with my father in California with his brother, or my mother in New Jersey with her cousin. My brother Stephen and I were never separated. We were just always together. I was more of his voice to the world, and I absolutely loved him and found him very funny, and would always engage in my reindeer games, whether it was playing Barbies or whatever. He just was like kind of go along, get along. So we were never separated. But after about a year and a half of being out in California, I decided I wanted to start high school in New Jersey because I'm a Jersey girl. And I told my dad, and I said, listen, I'm going to take Steven with me, and we're going to head back to New Jersey, and we're going to go live with mom. And, I'm taking Steven. And long story short, we're at LAX airport. High school has started. This is my freshman year of high school. High school has started, and I'm floating around in the ether, hanging out at LAX with Steven. And he's having a meltdown of all meltdowns. He doesn't want to leave his father. And he's just like a starfish on the floor of LAX. And he won't get up. And it's like a big disaster. And I'm like, oh my God, like we got to board this plane. Anyway, we get to the gate. The stewardess is like, you guys need to get on board. The plane is full. We're waiting on you. Steven's like literally suction cupped to the floor of Los Angeles airport. And my father just looks at me. He's like, Barb, you got to get on the plane. I'm going to take care of Steven. He's going to stay here with me. And I was like, no, I'm going to take care. No, Steven goes with me. And we're kind of going back and forth. And I am in a complete panic because I realize I can't get on this plane without him. I can't be separated from him. He can't be separated from me. I felt like I was his protector. And I couldn't imagine not being able to protect him. And it scared me. And I was like, I can't get on the plane without him. I couldn't get on the plane without him. Hands down, I wouldn't have gotten on that plane. And I got on the floor and I said, Steven, I can't leave you here. I can't leave without you. I can't. We have to go. We have to go. And by the grace of God, in that moment, he got on the plane with me. And I waved like this backhanded wave to my dad. And we boarded the plane, and it was a red-eye flight. I'd never done that before. And Steven passes out. He's like exhausted himself to oblivion. But it was on that flight home that I plotted my life. I decided I was going to be wealthy. And the reason behind that was I never wanted to see him in such distress and so unhinged and unglued. And I just figured if we had money and resources, I could create a home for him. And I had this vision of really just taking care of him in whatever capacity that was. And I only knew that in being able to take care of Steven at the highest level he needed to be taken care of, I knew that required money. And on that flight, I decided, I was like, I'm going to take care of Steven. I'll never let him be in this position again. If I have any bearing over his well-being, I'm going to figure it out. And that was, I was 13 or 14 years old. I was entering in my freshman year, whatever that age makes me. And I never forgot that. I put myself through college. I waited tables. I taught aerobics. I worked at the student union. I mean, whatever job was out there, I went for it and worked all the time. I don't have the greatest like memories from college other than like working and going to school. And it took me 5 years to graduate. But I do remember wanting to quit and being like, this sucks because I'd save up like $12,000. I never had that kind of money. I don't even think my parents had that kind of money. And I was like, 12, I am rich and I have money in the bank. And then I would have to write this huge check. I remember writing like a $7,000 check every semester to Towson. And that's where I went to school. And I was like, I could go buy things with this. Instead, I'm going to school and I hated that. I hated school. I wasn't that good in it. But I always thought if I quit, I can't take care of Steven. I've got to take care of Steven. And I did graduate, $30,000 in debt, despite all my waitressing and aerobicing. And I got into the workforce and I thought, all right, let's go. Let's hit it. Let's go make some money. And I started interviewing for jobs. And I remember hearing like, oh, you can make $35,000 a year. And if the company does well, you could get a bonus, like a $4,000 bonus. And I was like, what? No, I need to make six figures. I had heard that like six figures, like that was our big thing. And I'm in my late 40s now. So I'm in my 20s. So this is like 30 years ago, make six figures. And I was like, $30,000. It's not going to like put food on the table. And I was like, but what if I outperform everyone? What if I outwork everyone? And they were like, yeah, well, then the company will do well. Maybe you'll get a bonus and you'll get 2 weeks paid vacation and da, da, da. And I was like, yeah, no. And none of it like landed for me. And I ended up taking this job, going door to door, straight commission, cold call sales. And as crazy as that was, I was like, I just wanted to get paid. If I was going to work hard, I wanted to be compensated for my hard work. I wanted to work on commission. I think I liked the hustle and grind and less of a pathetic safety nest. Didn't land for me. So I took this crazy like entrepreneurial position. I was an independent contractor. But what kept me there was this opportunity that, because it was a test market, to see how effective going business to business was as the phones were being deregulated. And I was in Atlanta at the time. I followed a boyfriend. Anyway, that's another chapter for another day. So anyway, the concept was we proved to AT&T we're a viable source for new customer acquisitions as opposed to telemarketing or junk mail or radio or TV. Then they would want us to expand. And that's where they got me. I was like, this makes sense. I like it because not only was the phone industry being deregulated at the time, energy was being deregulated. So instead of always having to choose Bell Atlantic or Bell South, you could actually choose AT&T. So we represented AT&T. Long story short, I took a shot on that, and that ended up being a moneymaker. It was not easy. I wanted to quit. I thought I was nuts. Everyone told me to get a real job with salary and benefits. And I was not making that much money. I had to split my commissions if I trained somebody in the field. So not only, it was just insane, but I believed in the people that I was surrounded with. I believed in this. His name was John Wiggins. I believed in him and I believed in the vision he was creating. And he did something very significant at the time as we're building, our proof to AT&T that we're a viable source. He actually fired somebody who was really good at our sales, but she had poor ethos. Like she just didn't have a lot of integrity to the client, and John fired her. And I remember asking him, why'd you fire a top salesperson? And he was like, because I'm building a sales organization. I'm not just selling stuff door to door. I'm here to build an organization of sales teams so we can expand and grow this. And he was very committed to his vision, and he backed up his word with his action. He wasn't just a talking head. And I believe actions speak louder than words. And because I saw that he was a man of high integrity, great vision, I was able to really bond with him. And again, that's why I launched this podcast of like, find the people that have and are going where you want to go. And he was one of the first people that I kind of stumbled upon. I was very, very fortunate. Ultimately, I do want to share because I did want to quit. I wanted to quit. It was so hard. And the turnover was blinding. Our office space looked like garbage. We just looked shady, but we weren't. There was nothing shady about what we were doing. We're door to door selling telephone services for AT&T, an outsourced sales company. So long story short, the turnover was terrible. Morale sometimes was crap. People, like your friends, came and went, and you had to split your commission. So it wasn't like easy breezy lemon squeezy. And I didn't see a happy hour ever, because we worked 12-hour days. But when I wanted to quit, I thought, if I quit, I can't take care of Steven. And if I can't take care of Steven, then I will not be able to live with myself. He could be institutionalized. And so I was able to kind of persevere when other people quit. And I was able to create and be part of that vision. And ultimately, I was part of that vision. AT&T asked us to expand. Other companies came in, asked us to deploy sales teams in different areas across America. And now I believe it's one of the largest outsourced direct sales companies in North America. And I always say my badge number was ATL 47. So I was really one of the first people to, to kind of champion what we were doing. And I'm really proud of it. And I'm really proud. I'm still very good friends with John Wiggins today, and all the friends that did stick it out with me. And, again, throughout my journey, I would find people that were mentors that I believed in. And I learned very early on to not always get counsel where you get comfort. The people that love you and have your best interest don't always know what is in your best interest. They don't always know what's best. They may, and my friend Jessica gave that great quote. She said, people that have your best interest don't always know what's best. And I thought Jessica said it best. And I appreciate that, because that I learned early on, because I would ask like people for advice. And John Wiggins said to me, he's like, why are you asking people that don't have what you want? You want their life and lifestyle? They're broke as a joke. Like, why do you do that? And that was that had such impact on me. And that's, again, part of this podcast of like, you know what, get advice and counsel from the right people so that you can make better, more informed decisions, right? You can mitigate risk by getting informed. Anyway, so ultimately scaled sales teams, got married, had 3 kids, retired from, I am still a fractional ownership in that enterprise. I'm now in real estate. I have several real estate investments and properties. And I continue to put myself in spaces where I am not the smartest person in the room. And I find getting curious about people and how they've achieved what they've done, really one of my passions. And it's only serving to help me and to also help my audience. So I'm going to bring this story full circle, and I hope you'll join me as I interview more and more people. But where this really came to such a crescendo is in 2015, on the heels of my marriage falling apart. And I thought I married my prince and the man of my dreams, but he was, in retrospect, the man of my dreams, but it had run its course. And I have nothing but gratitude for my children and the lessons I learned along the way and how much growth I had in that marriage. But when it was over, it was over. And that was in the summer of 2015. Actually, it was 7 years ago yesterday that my marriage ended in a dumpster fire blaze of glory. And on the heels of that, I was diagnosed in that November with stage 3 colon cancer. And I had to undergo surgery and 6 months of chemo, 12 rounds of chemo. And in my 8th or 9th round, I don't remember, I was really blindsided by nausea. Chemo brain had just not, it was getting worse, and I had more infusions ahead of me. And I didn't think cancer was going to take me. I thought chemo was going to knock me out. And I was 42 years old with 3 amazing young children. And I had to take stock of all the things that I thought my kids would remember about me and what I hope that they would know about their mother. and what they would be proud, what I was proud of. And I started going through these lists of, you know what, I put myself through college. I want them to know that I put myself through college. I worked and I wrote the check and I did the things to get the things. And I wanted them to know that I helped launch sales teams and scale them across the country, that I was an entrepreneur in the time where it wasn't actually in vogue like it is today to be an entrepreneur. You know, you were supposed to get a good job and work 25 years and get a watch and retire at a retirement party. Entrepreneurship wasn't really like this hot thing in the day, but I did it and I did it well and I persevered when I wanted to quit. And I launched a philanthropy initiative as a stay-at-home mom and was awarded a humanitarian award. And I was super proud of, because when I reflected on all this, the humanitarian award in particular, I did it because I thought, well, what if this was Stephen? And what if this, I can use my voice to advocate for the Stevens of the world. And I did it with just like the understanding that not everybody has a sister and not everybody has a big mouth sister. And maybe I can amplify their needs by using my voice to advocate for them. And I was proud of the work that I did for Operation Smile. I wanted my kids to know that. And putting myself through college and taking a risk and being an entrepreneur, it was really it really hinged on the fact that I had to take care of my brother Steven. Like if I needed to make money, I had to graduate college and I had to take the road less traveled. I had to take risks and all bets were on me. And all three of them, at some point, I wanted to quit. It got hard. It got sticky. I lost my way. It was frustrating. And I never quit because I thought of Steven. And I thought if I quit, I won't be able to take care of Steven. So I thought in that moment, wow, like, thank God I was always taking care of Steven. But that moment had deeper meaning because I realized I had it backwards. It was never me taking care of Steven as much as it was Steven who took care of me. See, Stephen gave me rise to the greatest gift that I have ever been given, and that was the gift of purpose. And that purpose gave me no quit, no back door. Figure it out, make it happen. You have no other choices, because if you don't figure this out, he will be institutionalized. And with that purpose and that alignment with that vow that I made on that plane when I was heading into my freshman year of high school, I don't know that I would have had the intestinal fortitude to persevere through adversity, doubt, disappointment, discouragement. And when I had that clarity of the gift of purpose, I made a vow that I would never play small. I would go bigger. I knew I had gone big, but I had more in my tank. And that's my second vow that I've made to the universe and the ever being, whatever we want to call it, God, whatever you subscribe to. I made a vow to that higher self that I would never play small again. I would always go big. I'd use my voice. I'd build a bigger profile. I would just put myself out there more and I would figure it out. And by the grace of God, I got through the other side of cancer. I said, just give me one more shot. I'll go bigger, go bigger, go bigger, as Grant Cardone says. And that's where you're finding me, is I continue to put myself out there, put myself on television, try new things, explore new opportunities. And it's all in the name that I believe that with a higher profile and with the more I serve others, the more I bring value to others and purpose and clarity and knowingness to others, the more I can ultimately use my voice to speak for those who can't speak for themselves. So I put myself out there on all platforms, podcasts, blogs, television, Clubhouse, all over the place. And I'll close with this. I met Oprah in 2004. I just had my oldest son, and I stopped doing sales, and I was a stay-at-home mom. And I asked her, what kind of advice would you give to somebody who aspired for your level of success? And she said, this has been several years, so I'm just giving you my takeaway from it, not word for word, but she said you can never aspire for anybody else's level of success. Success is a byproduct of living in service and helping others. And that never left me of how can I use everything to help and serve others? And that's where you're really meeting me. I am just the curator of the good life. I find, test, and share everything that it means to live with purpose, style, and adventure. I use my voice to advocate for the most vulnerable. And I also like to use it to help others get out of their own way, live their best life, and make sure that they're not waiting until they're confronted with their own mortality before they step into their true being. So thank you for being here and welcome to the Bearing It All community. We have so many amazing conversations to help us live the good life. You are meant to live the good damn life. You are meant to live out your dreams and your aspirations. You are meant to leave it all out in the field. There's no trophies for the critics. So make sure you're getting in the arena, listening to these amazing people and what they've done. And I hope the courage that they had to do what they've done lands on you. Courage is contagious. So let's spread that virus. Thank you. And I'll see you every week or two here on Bearing It All. Thanks for listening to the Bearing It All podcast, where we explore what it means to live your best life. To stay connected, go to barbaramajeski.com and leave us your email. We'll keep you posted on all that it means to have the health, wealth, and happiness that you deserve.